Coming up in today's video in just a little bit, we're going to talk about an AEW star potentially being booked for a WWE event WrestleMania weekend. Some very interesting thoughts and things happening there. Also, we got to talk about a WWE star announced for GCW, and this one is not an NXT talent, guys. This is another main roster star. We're going to talk about what that means. Plus, we're going to kick things off right now with Alberto Del Rio. It's been a minute since we've talked about him. Alberto Del Rio obviously has been quite controversial in the past. A lot of people, a lot of wrestling fans know that Alberto Del Rio is considered a controversial topic. But something happened, and now this is not looking so good for Alberto Del Rio. He goes by the name of Alberto El Patron, and he has actually received a 180-day suspension in Tijuana following an incident that actually took place recently at a AAA wrestling event. On March 14th, he wrestled El Hijo del Wagner Jr. in Tijuana, and during the event, fans reportedly threw coins at Patron, and this actually led him to go into the crowd and apparently throw a chair. And this led to another chair being thrown. It resulted apparently in a elderly woman being injured and hospitalized, and the Tijuana Commission has actually come out with a statement. In the city of Tijuana, Baja California, on the 17th day of March 2025, in the facilities of the Honorable Wrestling Commission located at 1242 Diaz Ordaz Boulevard, Estate El Paraiso, zip code 22440, an extraordinary meeting with the presence of a legal quorum. It was determined that in accordance with the established in the wrestling regulations for the city of Tijuana, Baja California, it was determined that the wrestling regulations for the city would be in effect of the 17th day of March 2025. The professional wrestler Alberto Del Rio is suspended for 180 days in the city of Tijuana. The present notice is hereby given for all the effects that may be applicable at the offices of the Honorable Wrestling Commission in the city of Tijuana. And then, of course, James Webb guy from Webb is Jericho, he actually posted the footage of this, which was pretty remarkable. I can't share it, obviously, due to copyright issues. But, yeah, this is another story of Alberto Del Rio, El Patron, where people aren't necessarily talking about him in a positive light. And for a while, it seemed like he was trying to come back to WWE. I don't know if that's still a thing, but I don't know if WWE would ever bring him back. I think WWE has clearly moved on from him. And then obviously AEW does have Saraya signed to their company, so the likelihood of them bringing him in is also very unlikely. But it is, something you got to mention, obviously, and just really stupid, to be honest. That brings us to our next topic. Pete Dunne is headed to GCW. Yeah, I honestly could not believe this either. This is one of those things where WWE is obviously helping GCW, right? We know WWE is doing the WWE ID tournament in GCW WrestleMania weekend. Now, Josh Barnett, the guy behind Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, has officially announced a strong-style Englishman from the tough industrial city of Birmingham. He has no problem trading blows or submission holds. Wherever the fight goes, this bruiserweight wrestler is up for it. Pete Dunne is coming to Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. This is taking place Thursday, April 17th in Las Vegas, 8 p.m. Las Vegas time. And listen, man, this is really crazy to think about, right? You got Natalya doing NWA, Natalya doing Bloodsport. Now WWE is allowing Pete Dunne to do the same thing. And obviously there's a lot of things that could be said here. I know there is this huge narrative that WWE is trying to kill the indies. I don't look at WWE trying to kill the indies. What I look at is WWE trying to have their footprint everywhere possible. And for GCW, there's a lot of people who are really upset at GCW because of the fact that they're doing the WWE ID first round matches tournament during the collective. However, at the same time too, it seems like in exchange for that, WWE is sending top level talent to GCW related events, which ultimately leads to GCW benefiting. And listen, I understand a lot of people want to be so anti-WWE. Everybody just wants to be anti-WWE. It's kind of like a popular thing to do in the IWC. We don't know what the WrestleMania plans are for Pete Dunne at WrestleMania. We don't know if he's going to be involved at WrestleMania. But the fact that he can be at WrestleMania weekend and then partake in a very popular event, the Bloodsport event is very popular. I've made this very clear every WrestleMania week. It's one of my favorite things to watch during WrestleMania week, and it's just a really cool event. And obviously, for GCW to get Pete Dunne, that's already a massive thing. And there's obviously going to be other top level talent there. So now you get the opportunity to see what a WWE talent can do with maybe somebody who's not signed to WWE. And I think that's a really cool thing about WWE kind of working with GCW, right? Like GCW is going to get the added benefit of WWE promoting and obviously, having this happen. But GCW also gets the benefit of utilizing some higher name talent, right? Some higher value talent. And I think that's a good thing. Obviously, GCW is supposed to be an alternative, but at the same time, too, Pete Dunne showing up in Bloodsport is not really changing what GCW is all about. That's why the collective is so cool, because there is something unique for everybody. And this brings us to our final topic, ladies and gentlemen. Sting could be back in the WWE while contracted to AEW. There is a report that has come out today. Obviously, we know Lex Luger is going into the WWE Hall of Fame, and it's been said that Luger, which, by the way, Lex Luger has been pushing for this for a while. He's even said it in public interviews that he would really like Sting to do it. Now, obviously, AEW still has Sting, despite the fact that he's not an active performer. And Sting is kind of like they're calling it like a nostalgia agreement, I guess, or a legends agreement or a legacy contract or whatever. But basically what this allows for is for Sting to still be contracted to AEW despite the fact that he's retired. So that means he does some ambassador stuff, might show up from time to time, very similar to what a WWE Legends contract is. Now, this report came out that WWE, according to Fightful, WWE has made overtures to Sting, and basically there is a very good chance that Sting could be headed to the WWE Hall of Fame to induct Lex Luger. Now, listen, this is really going to come down to one thing. It's going to come down to Tony Khan, right? Tony Khan's got to approve this. Tony Khan's got to be the one to say yes. And ultimately, knowing that it's Sting, knowing that it's Lex Luger, I actually have a lot of confidence in the fact that Tony Khan probably will allow this. It is the WWE Hall of Fame event. And ultimately, guys, I'm going to be very honest with you. I understand that WWE and AEW are in... they are competition, right? But at the same time, too, for Tony Khan, there is an actual benefit to Sting being involved here, because anytime somebody gets inducted to the Hall of Fame, anytime there's Hall of Fame in general, there's always clips surfacing, and there is a ton of mainstream coverage producing and publishing articles about this. So I do think for AEW, there is that benefit when people put out these articles and videos and they're naturally talking about Sting, who is currently contracted to AEW, inducting Lex Luger, which ultimately could put more eyes on AEW. There really isn't a reason why AEW shouldn't do this. I mean, at the end of the day, WWE's Hall of Fame it's honoring Lex Luger, and obviously Sting and Lex Luger have that history. It just makes a lot of sense. So to me, I do believe that this is going to be 100% a lock. We'll see. There hasn't been there hasn't been anything that suggests that this likely isn't happening. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated if any more updates arrive.